How's the royal family? I pray that everyone is doing well. Well, my royal family, do y'all remember this video that I did? This was back in October 2018. And the title you see here is Gardening While Black May Get You Killed. Well, I got a part 2 on this. Let me see. Where is it? Right here. Detroit man sues 3 white women who called police on him for gardening while black. Well, let me refresh some people's memory. I got 2 short videos to play for the royal family.
Gardening while black.
An African-American man who's an urban farmer ended up on trial over the allegations of 3 white women angered by his work on a community garden.
7 Action News reporter Kimberly Craig tells us what happened and how it played out in court.
Mark Peoples went on trial this week on 3 counts of misdemeanor stalking, and by the time it was over, the judge had harsh words for the 3 women who claimed to be the victims.
These women, clearly were lying, you know what I mean? Clearly they were lying.
They complain, saying that you have threatened them in the past.
Mark Peoples says for months 3 women who are white repeatedly called Detroit police on him for working on a garden in an old park on the city's east side, falsely accusing him of being a pedophile and having a gun. And when he painted trees red, black, and green, colors of the Pan-African flag, he was accused of being in a gang.
None of this was true. None of it is true. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't, this was purposely done to try to destroy my life.
People's attorney Robert Burton Harris says this was a case of
gardening while black, where you have people calling the police on mostly African Americans for doing very mundane things.
You think she moved into this neighborhood to be called a racist?
This man is a friend of one of the 3 women whose complaints ultimately landed Peoples in handcuffs, charged with 3 counts of misdemeanor stalking.
So you got a company on?
They were willing to call me a pedophile. They were willing to call me a gang-banging, gun-toting racist, you know what I mean? And I was doing anything but planting the seed, to try to help my community grow.
Hey, the part about him coming out and farming and teaching kids how to farm, it's fantastic. Oh my God, please do more of that, But at the same time, you can't get done digging a hole over here and teaching kids how to do it and then walk over and say, I'm going to burn your house down and run you out of here because you're white.
But when Peoples went on trial this week, 36th District Court Judge Elenise Bryant acquitted Peoples, siding with the urban farmer in a directed verdict. And she believes this was a case very much about race.
It was clearly, in my opinion, that these ladies had engaged in not only harassment of Mr. Peoples, but illegal conduct towards Mr. Peoples.
They just strictly thought that their so-called white privilege was going to work this time, and it didn't.
Mark Peoples and his attorney say they now plan to file a civil lawsuit against the 3 women for, at the very least, defamation. In downtown Detroit, Kimberly Craig.
All right, my royal family. So we're going to watch the updated video that came out today.
Gardening while black. Now a Detroit man is suing 3 women who repeatedly called police on him.
He accuses them of making up lies that landed him in trouble. 7 Action News reporter Kimberly Craig talked to him about taking the women to court.
This is the small park at the center of all of this, and Mark Peoples says he filed this lawsuit because he couldn't let the 3 women get away with trying to ruin him.
These women, clearly were lying, you know what I mean? Clearly they were lying.
They complain, saying that you have threatened them in the past.
And now, months after a judge cleared Mark Peoples of stalking 3 women, he's filed a lawsuit against the trio. Peoples, who is black, is suing Deborah Nash, Martha Callahan, and Callahan's granddaughter, Jennifer Morris, who are all white. He's accusing the women who live near Hunt Park, where he was arrested, of lying to Detroit police and prosecutors, which led to him being charged. But in October, a judge threw the case out and said it was very much about race and that the women were actually harassing Peoples. At the time, his attorney called it a case of
gardening while black, where you have people calling the police on mostly African Americans for doing very mundane things.
And they just want to control any and everything they see. They don't want to see a young black man, coming up doing something positive.
Mark Peoples calls himself an urban gardener and says all he was doing and will continue to do is help children in his old neighborhood learn how to garden. And he says the women made up the false allegations against him because they just didn't want him around. Now Peoples says he has no choice but to file the lawsuit against them.
Why don't I deserve retribution for my name being, thrown through the mud? My name just deserves to be thrown in the mud without any recourse for me. I don't get my day in court.
We reached out to the three women, but they declined to comment. On Detroit's East Side.
Well, I am very happy that Mr. Peoples followed through like he said he was, and we have to do this. We cannot let the enemy get away with calling the police just for any old thing. And the other thing that gets my goat is he needs to also file a lawsuit against the police department because they came out to all those calls and they knew it was bullshit. They knew it was bullshit. See, they play along with this shit. And thank goodness he had a judge, which was a sister that's on code. But you see how even the courts will know it's bullshit because the judge has nothing to do with it when they file these things, that how they're wasting our taxpayer dollars and stuff, they still will entertain it. Even though it's bogus, they still gonna do it. And then that fat white motherfucker that got up on there talking about whatever he was talking about, he date one of them women. And I remember, let me check here. I remember when this first happened, I couldn't find the identity of any of these women. So the fake news media, they also was complicit in hiding their identity. And look like they showing someone here. Yeah, this is one of the women. I don't know which one it is, but they accused him also of being a pedophile. He's out there teaching children how to grow food in an urban community, having respect for Mother Nature and all of that. But the part that really gets my goat is how they will, knowing it's bogus, will continue to respond to bogus calls repeatedly. They see what he's out there doing. They already know what what it is. So they like to play the game too as well, going as far as searching him and handcuffing him. That's why we don't like y'all motherfuckers. Y'all always fucking with us about everything. We be minding our own fucking business, and you see us doing something positive, and that disturb your deranged, demonic psyche. And remember, my royal family, we see who keeps shit going in America. We see how these Beckys get down. That's why I keep repeating what the Creator told me this summer. He said she will be the first, as I speak, to feel his wrath. And that does not excuse the white man, because he was complicit in upholding her shit. So I'm glad that this brother is standing very firm on his position and following through. Yeah, we have the right to use the courts too. These people forget who they work for. And so it's a must, because when you're doing this, you're actually, that's one of our duties and responsibilities and obligations that we have for our family. Yeah, we don't all know each other, but we are family. And if we continue to let this shit, they get away with this shit, it affects somebody somewhere in America. So I'm glad that he followed through. So my royal family, render your voice with your beautiful divine words. And as always, my royal family, I thank you for your love. I thank you for your support. And with that said, Ashe.